Hi, I'm Micah, and I have 66 days to lose 31.3 pounds. It's September 25th, and I weighed in at 233.6 pounds. For lunch today, I had flank steak with butter and grass-fed beef tallow. I was listening to an interview this morning as I was driving, and they were speaking about a situation in which they thought they would lose a parent to an illness. And it just made me think about things a little bit. My wife said yesterday, after I talked to the guy at the park and then I talked to the post office worker, gosh, you're like an extrovert. And I was kind of thinking about that. My general mode has been more introverted. I think it's kind of a function of how I feel about myself. When my dad died, I really felt like I died with him. There's something about who I was in his eyes and with him that I don't think I can ever recover. It's kind of like there are certain people you're with who just being with them, it changes your personality. You become different because of that relationship you have with them. And so part of who I was who I was with my dad. Nobody will ever see me be exactly that person. And I was young, I was 13, but I immediately had this sense that life and who I was would never be the same again. And it was very painful, and that pain continued. And I've never blamed my dad for having a heart attack and dying. I've always known he did his best with what knowledge he had, and he was so loving and such a good father to me. But I always had this sense that I could die in the same way at the age I am now, just like he did, and that I could leave that hole in other people's life. And I knew that was a possibility no matter what I did, because that was impressed on me at that age when that happened. Just the knowledge that I don't have control over what terrible thing might happen in my life. But I always knew that I had control over my choices. And so what made me feel completely worthless was the fact that the knowledge that I felt I did have about what I could do to try to not die young, exercise more, eat in moderation. I knew that I was not able to do those things. And I would try, and I might get a few months into a diet before I failed. But the majority of my life, I've lived feeling like the worst pain that I've ever experienced in my life, I am going to visit on other people, not because it was out of my control, but because I chose not to change. And so I constantly felt worthless. So I think a lot of my introvertedness and a lot of my fears about what other people thought about me had to do with how I felt about myself and thought about myself. And that's what shame makes you feel. You want to hide how shameful you are because you can't hide it from yourself. I was kind of crying about it in the car, not because I feel that now, but it's just sad that I've lived a lot of my life that way. And I'm feeling very hopeful now and very grateful that for the first time I really feel like I'm making the choices that I can, that I'm doing my best to not leave that pain for my loved ones. And so I still know it's a possibility that that could happen. I could die young. But at least I know I haven't given up and I'm doing everything I can. So I'm grateful for that.